it is such a definite, clear need. Like, and it matches up where the two I guess mentalities of drafting is the player at the position you need or the best player available. Corner is probably the one that will sync up the best for the Jags, where they will get the most talented guy, someone like Terrion Arnold, and also be able to address a position that they desperately need to address. I made the joke about they better draft a receiver. I'm confident, like, first two rounds, they won't walk away without a corner unless they make an unforeseen trade move. They will absolutely go get a top talent at corner, and we'll see how that goes. Just recently, Daniel Jeremiah over at NFL.com just mocked Terrion Arnold to the Jags. I would love it. I love Terrion. The way he played this past year was exceptional. I think he's kind of not just an upside guy, but clearly his floor is NFL ready. There's other names to consider too, but he is Arnold's in an interesting spot. The gap between him and Kool-Aid is kind of the gap in the talent, like at least in how they're being perceived right now. As you mentioned, the pro days could definitely affect things.
Kool-Aid did run the 40 today, and that was big for him, Evan. And his splits were between 4.45 and 4.55. So
okay,
4.5-ish
it's
corner. Terrion ran again today in Tuscaloosa and was still right around that 4.5 mark, like he was in Indianapolis at the combine. Terrion showed you this year, though, positional versatility. Can play on the outside, can play that slot corner if you need to move him in there. This was really the first year we saw him at that star position. This is a guy that we wondered about coming out of Tallahassee as a high school player, if he might be more of a safety. So he can check some different boxes. Kool-Aid's speed was a concern, plus the foot injury that he was dealing with. But I think he checked some boxes in Tuscaloosa. Both those guys should be fine. But you do like, of those two, you like Terrion.
I think if you're gonna go first round and you're not gonna like try and trade back up into the first, which the Jags have done multiple times in the past few years, that's an option. But I think Terrion is just the guy that I would want to see. Kool-Aid is probably one of the most intelligent corners we've seen. He has his misses and different things, and that's mostly due.
He is a competitive dude.
He most of his like shortcomings that you saw this past year were due to the thing that we already knew about, which is he is athletic, but he's not a like otherworldly athlete. Whereas Terrion Arnold kind of has a little bit more of that stuff. The fact that Kool-Aid ran that 40 under, or split got under 4.5 on one side, that is huge. I mean, he desperately needed that, I think, to maybe solidify himself as a first round pick, because there's a lot of mocks right now that have him dropping into the early second, which, it depends on, do we see a run on corners? Do we see a run on whatever position? That'll affect a lot of stuff. But if I had to go right now, I think I'd want Terrion. I know that Kool-Aid probably, they say to scout traits, not stat, don't go back off the best year, go off of their traits, all those different signs. I'm sorry, Terrion played so well this past year that I can't help but if he's available at that spot, I'm gonna want him.
I think you're good with either one of them, and I know that's fence riding, and I say that because I think Kool-Aid will go into the league with the higher floor. I think there's a really good possibility that he's the better player early in his career, but with Terrion, I think his best football is still in front of him. And that's exactly goes back to kind of what you're talking about. And Terrion Arnold, yeah, it's a 4.5 40, but this was a guy coming out of high school, was such a good basketball player, could have easily played high major college basketball. In fact, part of his commitment to Alabama was based on two sports. He was going to play football and basketball for Nate Oates. That tells you the athleticism involved there with Terrion Arnold.